Morning, guys. Oh, squirrels. It's cold one this morning, but it's not freezing. I thought it would be. We've had a few frosts this last few days. Early morning. Back out in Sherwood. Yeah, I think it's just about dawn. The forecast is miserable, heavy cloud, next to zero chance of any sun. As I drove in, when it was dark, there was a few breaks in the cloud, and I thought we might get lucky, but as it stands right now, there's a few light patches up there, but nothing extraordinary. Anyway, doesn't really matter. It's only a quick one today. I mentioned briefly in my last video that I wasn't going to do any tutorials or anything photography really, but then it kind of occurred to me that there's one or two things that I practice that I don't see much of on YouTube. It's only tiny things, but they just make a bit of a difference to me. So rather than it being anything formal, I just thought if I come across anything that, I don't know, might help someone, then it's worth sharing, isn't it? So what occurred to me as I'm out today looking for, really I'm looking to, well, that reminds me I've got to switch my GPS on, bear with me a minute, see how organised I am. Do I go to the right pocket? Oh, bingo. Bleep. I like to think I know the part reasonably well, but in truth I don't. Not as well as I do need to know it. So, purpose of today, despite the weather, is to just come out and chart a few locations. Now, on my trusty beep, there's a function. Let me just start it. Let's go. I just wanted to come out today and try and narrow down a few compositions. And as I find places on my Garmin device where I'm stood, I can mark my location, which is a nice little feature. Because what that means is, this wasn't the tip I was intending on sharing, so this is kind of a bonus. Yeah, so what it means is, when I'm out wandering around, if I find a composition somewhere or a location of interest, whip out the Garmin, mark it on the map that it's charting for me in real time, and then when I get back to Moonbase Alpha, it will show me any locations I've marked, exactly where they are. Not particularly interesting at the time, but if I want to come back out to those particular locations again in the future, I can download that map onto the Garmin and then bring it out, and it will direct me to that location, which is epic. I've used it quite a bit. Garmin 820 Edge, recently updated to version 12, because previous versions were shocking. But it seems reasonable now. Not used it a lot since the update, but the little that I have has been, yeah, it's been cool. A lot of upright trees here and nice mixture of colours in the undergrowth. Let's show you this. I know we don't have a lot of light, but you can imagine, because the sun comes up directly over that direction, so it backlit, it lights the back. It makes these leaves all shiny, and when it does, this place really pops. You get a little razor light down into the forest floor, and it's just a bit, there's a bit of garbage in the background there. It's like a fallen tree that's been turned into somebody's holiday home. And yeah, Garmin Edge 820. As you saw, they're very tiny, so easy to carry. Battery life's epic, lasts for ages. A lot of ancient oaks down here. And this fella Times like this I wish I had a drone, because getting some sort of an aerial shot of that would be, I'm sure, a ace. Lovely silver birch, another oak tree in the background there. Huge sprawling branches. Magical part of the wood. So the idea is, in summary, pop my Garmin out. In fact, let's put a mark on the map while I'm here. Unlock screen. You go to navigate for anybody that's got one of these, and it's not a menu option, it's in the burger bar in the bottom right hand corner. And then you've got mark location, second option down. Mark location, yes. You can change the name of it so I can give it an identifier. Edit all the details relating to the spot. Let's just put a little mark on the map. And away we go. I'm going to be marking my map again in a second. Jeez, man. Just bear with me, I'm sorry for the interruption again, but there's another tree over the back there. This trunk here with a little bit of either ivy or bramble, probably bramble crawling across the base of it. Another one just behind it, hidden behind this. There we go. Another ancient oak. Great big oak, it must be 100 foot tall behind there, just tucked in. This bad boy. Amazing. And a whole selection on this side. And it opens up. Forest floor's quite spare. Challenge is real, I tell you. It's not straightforward. How do you pick a composition out of this lot? And what a lot of people do. Now, let me say that again. What some photographers do is get excited for mist, because it takes all the clutter out the back of the frame and it brings close images into more focus. So, dear. So you get, I'm going to take you down here and show you this as well. You get less distractions, so a more artistic shot, shall we say. And they are amazing. I mean, some brilliant misty forest shots, but try and choose my words carefully. I'm not going to say anything. I'll shoot them just like anybody else will. I'm not going to judge. It's not for me to do that. I'm not smart enough. Look at this. Oh my word. Check this out. Just adjust the camera. Oh my goodness me. Who'd have thought that was completely hollow? I'll spin you upside down so you can see any light. Oh yeah, there's loads, isn't there? RP, TS or JS, W, D. What a beautiful thing, hey? And that's its view every single morning. That's where it's lived for hundreds of years. Watched hundreds of thousands of humans walk by. No doubt there's been one or two stories I'm sure it could tell that might make your hair curl. But anyway, have we finished with the Garmin? I think we have, haven't we? The problem I have with this tree Not that I have any problem whatsoever with this tree, but from a photographic perspective, there's that tree that's behind it. It's so straight. I mean, the contrast is quite interesting. There might be a shot in there, but oh dear, I struggle with that. Really struggle with that. It's just like a combination. Yeah, it's like a combination of stuff that does not go together. Like pineapple on pizza. It's not right, is it? So, there's definitely images to be had here, but we're close to a path. We've got an old dead oak there. There's beauty here. A fantastic crown. A beautiful dead tree with... Shame about the bush in front of it, but I don't know if I can get in there tight enough. I'll have to have a play with that sometime. Another couple of dead oaks. Not dead, old oaks behind it. And then it drops off down into a slight dip behind. I've never actually ventured down there. I must do it one day. And winter's a good time because the undergrowth is not as inhospitable. So, the purpose of today is to come out and grab some locations. I have my camera with me just in case the light breaks, but as I say, I don't think it's likely. So if you're out and you're looking at something like those trees there behind me, or behind me, never stops giving this place. Morning ladies. Choosing a composition is virtually impossible. So what I do is I'm going to put my tripod down and I'll show you. Handy little tripod stand here. Stay. If I'm looking at an object and considering whether or not it would make a decent composition, when I'm in the trees there are so many distractions, I find it very difficult to actually work it out. So what I use is this little piece of plastic with a sliding door. So that's it. That's as much of a tool as I have. It's a purpose-made item called the view catcher, and it's predominantly what artists use for framing their compositions when they're painting out in the field. But it's just as useful for photographers. So opening this up, I've put a little piece of black tape on the edge here, and when I draw the window down to that point, that becomes 16 by 9, and that's very handy because if I hold this at the correct sort of distance from my eye, it allows me to get a reasonable, not perfectly accurate, but a reasonable idea of what my composition might look like through the camera. But the joy of this is it slips into my pocket, so it allows me to decide without breaking all my gear out whether or not that's a keeper. And all for a little piece of plastic called the view catcher. I'll put a link down below for it. They're not expensive, they're only about £5 or £6. 16 by 9, ta-da, and square crop. Obviously you can play around. I think on there just below that point is about 4 by 5 vertical. Instagram post ideal. And that's it, tip of the day. Saves me time, I don't have to break my camera out. I'm not walking around with my camera around my neck, constantly checking out through the viewfinder or live view if I have a composition or not. This does the same job, no effort. Made out of a 5% grey, so it neutralises everything outside of the window. that takes the distraction away, and that's the key thing for me. I'm not so distracted by the surroundings when I'm looking at this, and it helps me decide whether or not I actually have a composition without all the distractions that this place offers, as beautiful as they are. So I highly recommend it. Get a piece of cardboard, test it out before you buy one. 5 centimetres by 5 centimetres is the hole in the centre, and I'm shooting APS-C, so it's a 1.5 times crop sensor, which with a 30mm lens, which is what I will be shooting with, gives me approximately 45mm in camera lens length. And at 45mm, whatever format I choose with the window, I have to hold this approximately the camera's length away from my eye, so 5 centimetres, 50mm, and that in testing mirrors what I shoot on camera almost. My camera's set to 3.2, so there's a slight variation. Nevertheless, this is just as useful a tool, so get one, get two, get a spare, because you will break it or you will lose it, as I have. I don't know if I can frame anything on here. Give you an example. Let's go square crop, and then I'll put the GoPro approximately 5 centimetres away. No, let's go 16:9. There we are. I'll put the GoPro approximately 5 centimetres away and try and line it up. And what that will do is allow you to check out whether or not you have a composition. So to have one of these in your purse, pocket, wallet, camera bag, as you can see, go to square crop. You get the idea. Handy little tool. View catcher. Probably from a company called View Catcher. I don't think it is actually, but hey, right. It's getting a bit brighter. There's some white clouds up there as well as grey, which is also nice. It's a good sign. But I'm not going to waffle on today. I'm just going to mooch about. I've got a cup of tea, my view catcher, my camera if I find something, and if I do take any shots, I'll whack them up at the end of this video, or a couple anyway. Major oak, or no, let's go down here. Right then folks, heading down into silver birch territory. It's lovely down here. Yeah, not sure what's happening next week. Something will kick off, it's bound to, always does. But until then, thanks for watching. Please take care of one another. And if you can't be good, you know the drill. Just be careful. Peace.